So we've had people asking, I've had people asking, what is your plan for winter, for getting around? Because I've taken the time to share that this beast right here is a very effective boat anchor. I don't want to belabor that. It's just to say that the CVT transmission is, that's right, that's the sound I made. And I'm not in a hurry to spend thousands and thousands of dollars to deal with that at this point in history. So that means we need another way to get around this winter. The fate of the boat anchor, I think, is this. We're going to put the winter wheels on it. I'm going to list it for sale as is for a price probably nobody's going to pay. Full disclosure, needs a transmission. And it's just going to sit and see what happens. I might fix it if I can find a junked out one to pull the transmission from. I don't really know. It's going to be a project. It's just going to hang out for a bit. It's got too many new parts to just crush it, and it needs too much to do it in a hurry, which leaves us with the problem of how do we get around? What are we going to do? Let me show you. As you can see, I am a sucker for Nissan punishment. We've got this. This is my buggy. Nice 2005 Frontier, of which I've had, I think, nearly every headache you could have. There's a few left. I'm not begging for them, but I've had the major ones. I have not dealt with SMOD. I caught that early. Changed the radiator. Did not get the strawberry milkshake of death. You can Google it. I've not had trouble with the actual rear end going, but I have had to do the axle vent. I've done the timing chain. I've done brake line. I've done like all the popular stuff. It's happened. So I kind of know by necessity, not expertise, a lot of what this rig looks like inside out, upside down, underneath, etc. That one over there is a completely different unit than this one. And I like this one better, if I'm honest. Yep. Yeah, I do. So in the spirit of keeping it in the family, this is what we picked up for our winter vehicle. Yep, another Nissan. Not just a Nissan, a Pathfinder, which makes me ask myself, are you crazy? To which the answer is, maybe. Actually, I didn't necessarily set out looking for one of these. I had a pretty defined criteria. I had to hold my family, it had to be on the road, had to be decent for winter, and it had to be cheap. And this met them all. And as a bonus, this is a 2008. The red thing back there is a 2005. They are pretty much the exact same vehicle from here up. So the rear suspension on this is different, but the engine, the transmission, most of the drivetrain, all of that is the same. And what's remarkable is a lot of the problems that I've dealt with in the truck, this one has, yeah. And they haven't been dealt with yet. The good news is it does not have a CVT. Completely different than that boat anchor at the far end of the screen. This is the underside of the hood of that 08 Pathfinder I showed you. Best I can tell, this is a stock radiator. Now we checked it. There's no evidence in the coolant reservoir or the rad of strawberry milkshake of death. So job number 2, not 1, 2. We're gonna take this thing and we're just gonna throw it over there somewhere. We're gonna put a new one in. So there might be a video of that, although as usual, not an instructional video. The thing you might note is that the difference between here and here is significantly different. And there's a good reason for that. That's because, well, the rear suspension is, what do you say? It's gone. It's gone. So the suspension that we have in this, basically you let 10 pounds of air to your tires. Whatever give that gives you, plus the give of the rubber bump stops, that's it. Because it's sitting on them and there's nobody inside. So that's fine. We're going to have to address that. That means is in the next couple days, we're going to take all this and put it over there, and then take a lot of what's behind it and throw it in the scrap metal pile. We're gonna put new springs, new shocks, and I'm excited about this. We got airbags to put underneath it because we have a big family and we're gonna fill all the seats, and that means lots of weight. And so we're just gonna change the rear suspension, like, you know, because we need to. Here's what you should know. If you choose to watch any videos of me doing car repair, you should know that I don't know what I'm doing. I really don't, and I'm not pretending to. I'm just showing you what I did. And you probably shouldn't follow it as advice. And you shouldn't follow it as advice because it's not intended as advice. It's intended just to say, here's the ridiculous that I'm up to. And if you happen to need to find yourself up to the same ridiculous, you might be able to, you might not, I don't know you or what you got available for, but you might be able to pull it off. The other thing that's interesting, these brake lines right here, there's three, well there's four, but these three go down to unions down here and they're leaking. I just fixed those on my truck and now I'm gonna do them on this rig. Here's what I wanna tell you, because people have also asked, why do you waste your time making these videos? Honestly, I don't know. I've got a couple reasons. I think it helps me work through my own stuff. Like it's funny to me. So if it helps you, then great. Also, I want to remember some things, and I want my kids to potentially remember some things. I want them to remember that their dad worked hard, didn't have a clue what he was doing, but worked hard, ran older vehicles, ideally so we could save some money so we could do other things as a family with a very limited budget. And hopefully they can look back at it and laugh. So I think that's why. This is our 2008. I hope it's made you smile. It's got a bunch of issues, which means a bunch more videos for posterity. First of which will be likely the rear suspension. So as a recap, a 2013 boat anchor that is no good to us at all right now, but if you want to buy it, it's cheap as is. Winter steel rims and tires that are good for a winter, and it might work or it might not. My favorite buggy because it's mine and I love it. And if you've been wondering what our family's doing for the winter to get around, hopefully this winter buggy right here, as soon as I fix the rear suspension and the brake lines and the rear defrost and the window switch and put new tires on it, which I have because they're the same as my truck, the front suspension, we'll maybe put a lift kit in it. You know, the list is growing every day as I examine it. It's fine. It's gonna be fine.